Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith. This is Transfers Live because despite the fact the English transfer window has slammed shut.
Boring.
I know.
Boring window.
The boring window. There is still windows open across the world which can affect Manchester United. Make sure you are getting involved in the chat and the comments and hitting that like button. Joseph, I thought we were done with transfers till January.
Have you ever heard of the Turkish window? And I'm not saying it's the age that you've got to still get a hair transplant.
Nice.
I'm saying the Turkish transfer window stays open later than the English transfer window.
I love how, like, Turkish clubs, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Because people sort of can forget about that league and think, oh, yeah. No. But then when you hear these clubs, you think, well, yeah, they're big clubs.
Yeah,
you've
and
heard of them clubs.
Loads of big name players that you've heard of.
You've got big name players.
Yeah.
You've got loads of fans. The fans are dead passionate.
Incredible.
You think, okay, yeah, it's not like you go, what?
No.
Who's Fenerbahçe?
Yeah.
Who's Jose Mourinho? Who's Galatasaray? Who's Besiktas? All right, I don't know anymore.
Who's Icardi?
Trabzonspor, there
Who's
you go.
Osimhen?
Yeah. You know these people, you know these clubs, you know what I'm on about. Turkey's a great country as well, been there. So yeah, it looks like that could have some bearing on Manchester United's squad. We're going to get into that.
Unbelievable.
Into all that. Make sure you are getting involved in the chat and the comments. Manchester Mavericks this evening, Ross Murphy, Santa Notch, Chris Griffiths, all in there. Hube in there as well. Santa Notch says the Ethan show. Fair enough, why not?
This is where Ethan brings out his puns, obviously.
It's time to shine.
Yeah.
Right, shall we start with your favourite topic and mine, Antony?
Let's get into it.
Antony.
Fenerbahçe to gobble up Turkey. Oh, they're calling him a Turkey.
They're calling Antony a Turkey.
Which is... Isn't that when you get...
Go on.
3 strikes in a row in bowling?
Yeah, that is that a Turkey?
Ethan?
Google it! Hang on a minute. What do you mean you don't know?
3 strikes in a row, it says it in front of your face. Hey, there you go.
Have you had many of them?
I have had 1 or 2.
3. See, you'd have thought 3 strikes in a row would be something good, but Turkey's usually known as a bit of a turkey. Well, that's a compliment. So maybe he's, getting complimented.
Well, he's 3 strikes in a row. 3 strikes and you're out, more like. Fenerbahçe are planning a shock loan move for Manchester United man Antony, according to reports in Turkey. The summer transfer window may have come and gone for teams in England, but it actually hasn't. It hasn't then, has it? Because if we can still loan players out, then it hasn't come and gone.
No.
The ability to register players in England has come and gone. That's what we say, really? Because he can still go and we're an English team. But it remains open in various other locations around the world, including Turkey, where Fenerbahçe are based.
There's a word coming up, a hyphenated word.
I ain't seen it yet.
Right, that I have never heard before.
Yeah.
There's 2 words put together hyphenated. See if you can spot it.
Okay.
Go on.
Teams in the country can complete deals up to and until September the 13th, meaning a number of Premier League clubs could still lose some of their players in the coming days. Photomac, Turkey's best-selling sports newspaper. Is that it? No. Today published the name Yellow Navy wants to add to their squad is Manchester's Brazilian star Antony. Antony is expected to be finalised by tonight. Yes. That's today. That's tonight now. In fact, isn't Turkey ahead of us? Hours-wise, time-wise. I mean, it's east of us, so you'd assume it's ahead of us. Surely it should be done. It must be nearly midnight in Turkey. Ethan, find out what time it is in Turkey, because we might have 2 minutes left on this deal. Yellow Navy.
Yeah, I don't hear that very often, do you?
Well, that just must be Fenerbahçe's nickname, because they wear a yellow navy shirt.
Nice. The Yellow Navy
it's very
team
good, that, isn't
wants to add to their squad is Manchester United Brazilian. I mean, look, this would be ace if it was true.
It's 5 past midnight.
But unfortunately, as of 5 minutes ago, this is bunkum.
Provable.
It ain't going to happen because it ain't happened. And if it was going to happen, it would have had to have happened by now. And it didn't, so it ain't. Look.
It doesn't have to happen. This story isn't entirely true as of 5 minutes ago. That is for sure. But like it says there, we've got till September the 13th for this to still happen.
Right.
So we can't rule out the Antony move entirely because it hasn't happened the day they said it would. But just, sorry, carry on.
I hate how bad Andy is. Yeah. I hate it because I feel like both individually, myself and as a channel, we dig him out a lot. And I hate that fact, but I just do not think he's good enough. I don't think his attitude is good enough, and I hate using the word attitude, but I think it applies there. I don't think ability-wise, he's good enough. I think he's just not even a good option, even though we need attacking players. Yeah. And we are, we've not got that many attacking options. I just don't even think you can rely on him for anything. And I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope he smashes it. When he gets a chance, he takes it and does well. But I just don't see it happening. And I think now he's entering his 3rd season, and he's basically had almost a season off. Other than that goal against Liverpool, what else did he do? There's a goal against Burnley and a goal against Newport, and that was it. He scored 1 Premier League goal in 29 appearances last season. That's shocking. I know a lot of them appearances might have been from the bench, but Amad Diallo, I think, got 1 in 3. Like 1 goal all season in the Premier League.
Weirdly
just,
bad, isn't it?
That's just not good enough. Yeah. And the season before, he got, I think, 3 in his first 3 in the Premier League. Then he went 6 months without a goal or an assist in the Premier League. I mean, yes, he got that goal against Barcelona, and I think he scored in the Carabao, but you can't do that. You can't have, basically, 6 months of your first Premier League season, and then 8.5 months of your next Premier League season doing nought.
Another problem he has is...
And again, I'm criticising him, but I'm sorry, it's true.
He's only really got 1 goal. Can you imagine him, sliding into the back post at the end of a cross, or winning a header and putting it in? Not even beating a man, but just controlling a header into the box. And I'm sure he's done it at some point in his career. But when you think of how he's going to score, it's cut inside, left foot across the keeper. Yeah. That's kind of his only thing. So when you limit yourself to that, you're really going to struggle to score in the Premier League. You have to be able to do a bit more than that. You have to be able to find the near post occasionally, nip in front of your defender, win a header or guide a header in, or, like I said, slide in at the back post and tap it in with your right foot. He's very limited into how he's ever going to score goals. He does some things well. Like, if you ever look up his defensive numbers and his tackles and interceptions for a forward, they're some of the best, if not literally the best in Europe. They're astonishingly good how many tackles and interceptions he gets. So I think, theoretically, I sort of got what Ten Hag was thinking when we signed him. Obviously, the fee has completely destroyed any chance of him being a success, and also his actual footballing output just isn't good enough.
No.
But I personally think, I'm not quite as far as you. I would probably keep him unless we're replacing him. What does it benefit us? Unless obviously he's just terrible to have around, which is possible.
He's the only player I know, right, who's publicly on the pitch and a blazing row with Bruno. Who's publicly on the pitch and a blazing row with the manager. He's the only one I've known to do that.
Were they blazing rows?
He was calling him a swear word, pretty horrible swear
with Bruno, but not
and
with the manager.
He was going berserk. Marcus had to pick him up at one point. The other one, Ericsson, had to. Then he's whispering to Gabriel Jesus. Bro, you can't be whispering to the opposition about your manager.
I think it's bad.
That came after the first one.
Ronaldo did worse than that when he was here.
I don't think he did, I'll be honest with you.
I think storming off and throwing your stuff on the
floor.
All right, yeah,
with Ericsson, but it wasn't like in the middle of a game he's whispering to the opposition.
And also he's Ronaldo and Antony isn't.
Ronaldo's got a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, of course.
Whispering to your opposition teammate about your manager, that was... let's not forget as well, right? Okay, you're saying other players. I genuinely haven't seen Bruno and another player go so like they did at Selhurst Park, where they were screaming at each other. Basically, unless it's happened and I've missed it. And I know Bruno can be a bit feisty, but I've never seen him have a row like he did with him. And you think, oh well, that might be Bruno. Okay, why is it the only one?
No,
it's him.
I'm not saying that he's
why is he the only guy that's had a row with Ericsson publicly in the middle of a game? I know Ronnie was moody. I'm not saying he wasn't. You're right, but twice he did it when he got asked to play at fullback, and then there's the off the field stuff. I mean, I'm no clear on what's going on there, and I'm not saying it's one way or the other. I don't know, but it's something that's going on that isn't great for the kid. Mm-hmm. Or whether that's his fault or not, it's just another bit of the the drama that surrounds Antony.
We've got 2 wing spots, and having only 3 players in Amad, Garnacho, and Rashford is better than having him as just a 4th option, just because you think, deducing from what we see on the pitch, that he's probably a pain in the arse in the dressing room. Because if 1 or 2 of them gets injured, what do we actually do?
Maybe he's got to give him some minutes then, unless you're going to give someone like, I don't know, Shea Lacey's still a kid, isn't he? Yeah. Maybe you can juggle things around.
Can you bide your time till Christmas and get
someone goes out wide, maybe, or I don't know. Yeah. But, I mean, let's have it right. The manager's lost faith with him. Doesn't give him any minutes, hardly. I think, did he give him 3 minutes at Brighton? Yeah. And even that becomes a meme. When he enters the pitch, we're drawing, by 3 minutes later we're losing. I know it's not his fault, but he becomes a meme, that cameo. Yeah. The FA Cup final is a big one for me. That was a statement. That you're my £80 million.
He definitely doesn't trust him.
He doesn't. I think he doesn't. I don't think, and I think he's the kind of player that won't understand. I know he gave that interview to The Athletic and a few other journalists, and anywhere he was like, I want to get more goals and assists. I get it, but I get the impression that in his head he's probably thinking like, I'm so much better than this. I should be playing every week, and I just don't think it's going to have a happy ending, man. And if he left, yes, we might get injuries where there's a situation where he could get minutes. And he might even get minutes in the Europa because there's so many games.
Stuff like that, Carabao.
But I just feel like there is a bad apple sense with him. And I'd like to, like I say, I love him to prove him wrong, but he just does. It just seems like there's bad vibes around him, and him and the manager aren't getting on. I don't know if he's particularly close with any of his teammates, but I think if you could get anything for him, I know you can't replace him this late in the day. Even if you got him off the wages, it might be worth it. It's on about 200k a week in it as well.
Something like that. Yeah.
Which is just, it's mad to me. And I understand your point about he keeps possession and stuff like he can do defensively. But even that can go out the window with him a little bit. Because I made that point against Wolves when he came on and everyone was going mad. And I was like, oh, he'll keep the ball though. And then he lost it and then he scored.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
He's not a particularly good player, and he's also not a particularly good player during the worst confidence period of his career, most likely. So you're getting the worst version of a limited player, which isn't good for anyone. And I do think, obviously, if we can get him out and replace him, I'm up for that. My only worry is literally bodies on the pitch.
I get your point.
Unless even Rashford's injured, Garnacho's injured, he has to play. More like Rashford could do the rest. We were already 3-0 up, or not even 3-0 up, 2-0 up, 1-0 up. Antony is a serviceable football. Technically he can control the ball, he can find a pass, he can dribble down the line a little bit and keep the ball. So I think just having a rotation for Ahmad and Rashford and that, I think we need 4 wingers.
He just needs, if he does get a chance, he just needs a good game.
Yeah.
Honestly, one good game can turn your career around.
Yeah.
And I think if he was to say he plays even against Barnsley, maybe not Barnsley because people go, it's only Barnsley. Let's say Southampton. Yeah. Let's say he came on with 20 minutes ago and got the winner.
Yeah.
People will genuinely give him a chance. They go, right, okay, let's get behind the kid. Do you know what I mean? They would. Yeah. If he helps us get a winner against Southampton, I just don't see it happening. I don't even know if he get on the pitch against Southampton. No. He might do. But I think you've got to get to a point with certain players where you go, I'm kind of done with him, and I got there with this kid probably halfway through last season. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. I know you're not exactly sticking up for him, but do you see Joe's point of view about we need bodies on the pitch? Let me know. Get involved in the chat. Marche Bedans. Oh no, let me read that properly. Massiege Bednaz says Xerxes is too slow to play on the left. I mean, he can play on there, but I think he's not his preferred position. Someone made a good point. I can't remember someone said about Ajax, he can't have been like that at Ajax. Forgive me, I've lost who it was that said it. But someone said surely he wasn't like this at Ajax when Tenag brought him in. But it's weird, it's different if you're part of a successful team that's winning every week. Because if you look at his numbers, it was 8 goals and 4 assists in his final season, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Which wasn't amazing, but he was part of a successful team. And if your team's winning every week and you've got loads of possession and you're doing your job defensively and you're winning matches, it's all gravy. And maybe there wasn't any questions about him because he was part of this successful setup and they were winning. But now when it's a bit, the chips are down a little bit, I just don't think he's that guy. Right, let's move on, shall we? I think we've spoken enough about Antony. I don't think he's going to go. If he does, I get your point, but I'll be glad. I will. And I hope he proves me wrong.
Yeah, I'm not desperate for him to stay, but I just feel like, we might need him at some point. Old man to Turkey, Gala Bingo.
Oh, is this the Prime guy?
I don't know what this is.
This is the
Old man to Turkey.
I don't know.
Gala Bingo.
It's Wakey Wines in it. That's it. And what is it? Abdul go forward. Abdul come back. Bingo, bingo, Gala Bingo. That's what he does. The guy in it. But I don't get what Old man to Turkey is.
But
what's that got to do with Wakey Wines?
Does Wakey Wines say Old man to Turkey?
I wasn't thinking of it, I was just thinking of Gala Bingo.
But what's Old man to Turkey got to do with Gala Bingo? Oh,
Gala Bingo.
as in Galatasaray? So Old man to Turkey and Gala Bingo aren't related to each other at all? Bingo's for old people. Something's happening, isn't it?
I don't...
It smells pun-ish. Pun adjacent, maybe.
This feels a little bit corn on the cob, butter him up.
I can't
there's no real thread here. Old man to Turkey, Gala Bingo.
Also, old man is only a year older than me. I don't want to be an old man just yet.
Bro, he's 12 years younger than me.
I know, fuck
Do you know what I mean?
Right, should we get into this? Galatasaray are considering a move for Manchester United midfielder Casemiro. Casemiro's future at Old Trafford is in doubt following a miserable performance in the 3-0 defeat to Liverpool on Sunday. His position as a regular in Erik ten Hag's team is also under threat after the arrival of Manuel Ugarte. Casemiro still has 2 years left on his contract at Old Trafford after arriving from Real Madrid in a £60 million move in 2022. A source has told ESPN that he would be reluctant to move to Turkey, although it would depend on whether he has a realistic prospect of regular football at United. And that's according to ESPN and The Times.
I hate all this, you know.
What?
It's gone too far, innit? Because it's like, he had a stinker against Liverpool. I think he's in decline.
Yeah.
I think it's done, but it's just been blanket. I'm guilty of it because I was talking about him this morning because it was news this morning. It's still news now. It's just constant, isn't it? It's just constant noise about Casemiro.
Yeah.
And he did have a stinker. It was a terrible 45 minutes. But let's not pretend that once he left the pitch, everything was rosy. It wasn't. There's more issues at Manchester United at the minute than just Casemiro, but he has been a problem because he's just not as good as he was. And you saw the dizzy heights of like the Carabao Cup final, one or two other appearances or performances, and now you look at him and he just looks a million miles away from that player. And because he's 32, because it's been like coming over the last year, I mentioned on the Paddock podcast the Brentford game last season at Old Trafford where he got hooked at half time. This was more to injury than form, was a shocker.
Yeah. So
it's sad to see. Again, I keep repeating myself, but I hope I'm wrong. If he does stick around, I'd love to see him play a part. I think you probably do need to keep him, purely for, you mentioned bodies on the pitch.
Yeah.
And even though he is having a bit of a stinker, you can't have three fewer midfielders this season than last season.
No.
Or maybe two, because you lost Amrabat, you've sold McTominay, you want to sell Casemiro as well, and you've brought in Ugarte.
Yeah. That's not enough, is it?
It's not. No. We didn't have enough last season. Now we've got two fewer. Mount's injured as well. Sorry, that was the other one.
Yeah.
So I know he was injured a lot last season, but he's injured now. That seems like just fuzzy thinking, and especially when Toby Collier, he looks like a great young lad. There's massive question marks about whether he's, you can rely on him week in, week out. He's only played 45 minutes for United. In the competitive game. So, I'd be worried. Louis Cook, welcome to the academy. Sam Z says, does Ethan take LSD when doing the puns?
Yeah.
Till all R1 says, Jay, he needs to go. Go on, where do you stand on this?
I don't know. See, we heard reports at the end of last season, didn't we? I think realistically we need to keep him for now. But I do think that we heard reports at the end of last season from Laurie Whitwell and from others, I think it was Laurie Whitwell, who's certainly in The Athletic, that Casemiro and Varane were some of the sort of dissenting voices in the changing room around Ten Hag, that they didn't like his tactics, they didn't like what they were being asked to do. And obviously, that I'm not saying that Ten Hag's always right on everything, but if you've got players and senior players and big voices in there, I don't know if he's a big voice personality-wise, but certainly if you're going to listen to what this guy's got to say because of what he's won. If he's there knocking about going, Ten Hag shit, don't know what he's on about, we didn't do this at Real Madrid, this is rubbish. Like, that's not good. That can't be good. Like, how can you have a dressing room where one of the main faces, one of the big guys, the biggest earner at the club now, I think he is sort of not on board with it at all, and wasn't last season? And then do you think not playing in the FA Cup final when he reportedly, again, who knows if this is true, but the reports that he heard that he wasn't going to start and said, all right, I'm not in the squad either then. And then he gets hooked off at half-time against Liverpool 3 games in. Do you think he's going to be saying how great Ten Hag is all the time? Or maybe you might not be seeing the best out of him. I don't know. I think if he isn't happy with the manager, if he doesn't like being here and he doesn't like Ten Hag, I think then we should get rid of him. And obviously, we're going to be thin in midfield if we do, and we probably shouldn't right now unless we can get Rabiot in. So I think we're going to talk about Rabiot in a minute. So maybe that could be a sort of in-out situation there. But I do think that just because he's Casemiro doesn't mean he should be able to, be someone that's telling everyone the manager's shit. Like, I don't like that, and I don't know how often he did it, or whether it's a consistent thing, or whether it was just concerns over certain portions of the tactics. But there were reports, and there haven't been with many players, that he was a dissenting voice against the manager last season, and I don't like that. No. So I think that needs to be considered, but we probably shouldn't have 4 midfielders for the rest of the season, or 5 as it would be. Would it be Eriksen, Ugarte, Mainu, Fernandes and Mount? that's not really enough, is it? If you've got 3 midfielders, you need at least 2 for every spot.
Let's have it right. Yeah, we don't know. But if he'd have said, if the manager said to him, I'm starting Sofian Amrabat in the cup final, and if he'd have said, right, I'm not being in the squad then, that's a sackable offence to me. Like, you can't just... Imagine if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 99 said, well, I'm on the bench, sack that, I ain't doing that. Like, you can't in a cup final say, right, well, I'm not in the squad. You know, I'm not contributing to this at all when you're on 350k a week or whatever. Like, I don't know if that is true, but if that is, that should have been the end of his United career. Yeah. They should have sat down at the table and gone, look, they did it with Roy Keane, probably the greatest midfielder we've ever had, when he did something they weren't happy about. And then, let's have it right, they knew he was coming to the end of his career, so it's kind of an excuse. But when he did something they thought, right, that's just unacceptable, they went, right, well, we're going to, you know, pay your contracts off, whatever you've done. So if he did do that, then that should be the end of it. So, I don't know, I'd have to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. And say,
I get that.
Yeah,
and it was a rumour, but it wasn't just a Twitter rumour.
It did feel that, and I've heard a few people saying it, but I don't know, no. So let's say, for example, let's just not hammer the kid who's already getting hammered. Yeah. Let's say that didn't happen. You're right, though, about people saying he was a dissenting voice. Maybe there is some merit to that. Maybe there is a merit where he can go, okay, look, I was part of this team, I saw what the manager was trying to do, we won all these trophies, I come here, we're a bit all over the gaff, I don't know what this guy's trying to do. Alright, maybe there is. But all that doesn't excuse what we're seeing at the minute in terms of his performances, in terms of what we saw at the weekend. Like, you know, getting tackled and dilly-dallying on the ball and giving the ball away as often as 13 times he got dispossessed in the 45 minutes he played. 73%, I think, pass rate is just not good enough. No. So they need to sit around the table if you have got an issue and sort it out. Yes, Manuel Gait is going to be first choice, but Casemiro could still have a part to play. The only reason I think keeping him around is like what you said about Andy, it's kind of like bodies as well. I'm worried about the fact he's just running out of people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And like, we've got all these games coming thick and fast. You need someone to play against Barnsley and 20 and all that. Yeah. You can't play Manuel Gatti now for the next 60 games this season. Like, you're going to have to sort of rotate there. Yeah. And if you do play him for the games that you just go, look, we can get away with it. I know it sounds insane to say you can get away with playing Casemiro, that's where we're at. You can get away with playing Casemiro for these games. We'll bring Gatti in for the league games or whatever. Maybe that's the answer, because we left it so late in the day that our hands are almost tied.
Just one thing in his defence where you get some comments ready. Yeah. There is also the possibility that he's being asked to be a ball-playing defensive midfielder and he doesn't like it because he's not very good at it. Like, we all assume that he's taking these risky passes and chipping the ball over his shoulder first time and trying to play balls over the top and clipping it out to the wing and giving it away and conceding goals. We assume that he's doing that out of a sort of carelessness or maybe a lack of care or a lack of sort of interest in whether we really win or not because my career's been and gone. But there is a chance that he's telling the manager, can I not just get the ball back and give it to Cobby or give it to Maguire? They say and Ten Hag's going, no, you're really good with the ball. Look at these passes that you do, and you can pull off some great passes. And he's going, we need to see more of that from you. You're the link. You're the sort of number 6. You're the one who turns play around and pushes it forward. You have to take risks. You have to. And then he tries it and goes, I'm not very good at this, and then gets subbed for it. That's possible as well. We don't know. It looks as though, to me, he's just going, oh, it don't really matter, I'm just going to hook it first time.
Whilst you make a point there,
that's possible as well. So
I don't know if the camera's picked up on it, but there was times when he might not be the quickest, but he's physically able to sprint. Yeah. And he wasn't. There was times when he was jogging when he shouldn't have been jogging. Yeah. There was the time when he went out for a throw-in. He could have got there. I felt he could have got there, and he didn't. That, to me, the Arsenal game last season where he's late, slow getting out of defence, that isn't on the manager telling him instructions. No manager in the history of football has ever said, if you're in defence, I want you to come out dead slow. Yeah. That's him. Yeah, no manager,
15 yards behind the line of everyone else.
And like little things like, and I know it became a meme, but the one at Palace, sliding past Eze, where Eze just goes, carries on running and scores. Yeah. That's a player, to me, who's losing his mojo.
Yeah, I get like, and I would just offering that as a
sort of, and I get you. You're right to
go, why does everyone think I want to be this guy?
Maybe there is an element of that. Maybe there's an element of manager set, but there's also an element for me of this is a player who's lost a bit of pace, and for me doesn't seem like he's putting in the effort. I remember at Nou Camp where I think the ball came over the top. I can't remember who it was. Barcelona played out wide. Casemiro was over there. Yeah. He was over there and on him, and he hit him. And the Barcelona fans, because they hate Casemiro because of the Real Madrid connection, going berserk, but it was a tackle, it was just a hard tackle. Now, how often do you see a man sprint and gets there? Do you know what I mean? And it's like Ronnie always says sometimes he's sliding in, it feels a bit like, I ain't going to get there, I'll just do this. Because some of the times, like sometimes he does do a slide tackle and it works. He did it against Liverpool. Other times he's sliding in like 3 seconds too early.
Yeah.
Like the Eze one was a good example because Eze literally watched him and went and carried on. And it feels a little bit like, I hate seeing a great player who's in a decline and it becomes like a meme. I keep going back to that, but it does. And that's how it feels with Casemiro in a minute. Yeah. It just feels like we're watching a player who, especially at Madrid, was one of the great DMs of his generation, become this guy who's just, it's almost painful. Yeah. Let me know in the comments. Let's go to the comments. Ahmad Vij says, my favourite duo in United content. Keep up the great work, Joe and Jay.
Thank you.
Alfensney says, Casemiro sirens more time on the floor or spends more time on the floor than the ball. David Campbell says, Casemiro's been bad for ages. I get it. Chris Griffith says, free agent choices, Rabiot CM, Mounian left wing and Atal right back need to add squad depth. Let's talk about some
let's get into Rabiot then. What we got here? Move to England, get your Rab on.
Fucking hell.
What? Why do we keep doing this format of question, pun-based answer? Corn on the cobby, butter him up. What was the last one? Casemiro, Gala Bingo.
Yeah, it's like the second part's got nothing to do with anything.
No, but these two are linked together, I suppose. Get your Rab on. It's a brand of warm weather jacket, of cold weather jacket.
Yeah, I get the thing.
Yeah.
It feels like a bit of a stretch. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's really tight.
Go on.
It's really tight.
Why is it really tight?
Nice tight fit.
What's that got to do with it?
Producer Ethan says it's really tight. What? Why?
What does that mean?
You said it was a bit of a stretch.
Oh, it's a bit of a stretch.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a
Oh,
nice
Jesus
tight
Christ, it's getting worse.
It's getting worse. So just read this.
Yeah, read it. I feel like it's giving me soup. Go on.
Adrien Rabiot remains keen on a move to the Premier League with the France midfielder available on a free transfer. Rabiot is among the list of high-profile players still looking for a new club after his contract at Juventus expired in July. Sorry, how many high-profile players' contract expired at Juventus in July? What, is that like fucking 25 players that have just left Juve? That doesn't make sense.
Aye.
AC Milan explored a move for the France international late in the window. Interest that ultimately faded with Ismail Benassa remaining at the club. He has previously said, I've always said that I'd like to play in England in my career. I still have that desire. I'd like to evolve in the Premier League like a young Pokemon. It's the league, it's the level of play that's going on. That's what attracts me most. It corresponds to my qualities. Very interesting. I mean, he's a good player, isn't he? I'm surprised he's not got a club yet. He's probably going to want a load of money because it's a free transfer, maybe even a hefty signing on bonus, etc. But I don't know. It don't feel like it's going to happen, does it? This is, obviously, we've been linked with him. It's a name that keeps coming up to United. But there's no actual link between Manchester United and Rabiot, except we could do with a midfielder and he exists.
Have you ever thought wearing your hair out?
I've thought of it.
Yeah, I think you could rock that look.
I don't know. I haven't got the sort of curly kind of bedlam back at the back that he's got, have I?
No.
He's doing it better.
You could work on that though. You can get it done. Get it permed.
Get it permed?
Yeah, the gaff's down there, down on Deansgate up there. I'm worried about that. What?
Gaff's down there. Oh, you're down there. I'm just nipping down there.
Nah, I've seen him. Trust me. Rabiot, me and you were chatting earlier, like, it just feels a bit like the old Milinkovic-Savic, like the old Wesley Sneijder, like, Rabiot's going to come, but he's not. I don't know, I mean, he's a free agent. This would stink of scattergun desperation approach.
Yeah.
Like, the window's shut.
That was your Tinder method, wasn't it?
Scattergun desperation approach.
Yeah.
Well, just like...
Set the age bracket.
I don't even know which is it. Which is why... Because I've never been on Tinder. I'm an old man. It passed me by all that. So, what you like for? It's not interesting.
I've just seen the logo on your apps.
I can't help it if people use my picture to catfish me. I mean, to use me as a catfish. Whatever.
You've been catfished by pictures of yourself. That's how you know they were very good.
Oh, look at this handsome devil. Oh, it's not really.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, shit.
I've matched with myself.
Can you do that?
It's not fake.
Hey. No, go on. What is it? What was the thing about my Tinder?
You said...
Yeah.
So, I can't remember what you said now. Something about pathetic desperation, twat or something. Scattergun desperation approach.
Yeah, and you said
that was your Tinder method, wasn't it? So it's 18 to 99 age bracket.
Yeah.
Distance,
Yeah.
15,000 miles. That's
Really?
the
Is
entire
that what you do?
Well, that's the
Is that-
radius of half of the Earth. So
Yeah.
going from both ways, that covers
Okay,
everything.
Yeah.
And species, you just put, who cares?
What, can you have different species? And that? That's...
You used to be able to, but then it all got woke. That's not true. That's not true at all.
It all got woke is my favourite saying ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, high five there, bro. I like that. It all got woke.
He ain't coming, is he? He's not even linked with us. He
No,
just said he
mate.
wants to play in England, which I get it, but come on, it's not happening. Should we move on to our next story? What we got here? Hichido. Shocking. Absolutely rubbish
Right,
that.
go on, read
Terrible.
this. That's shy, by the way.
Awful that. Man United are set to announce the signing of teenage wonder kid Chido Obi-Martin. So it's here we go with Chido. I think that's terrible. I think that might be your worst.
Whoever said that wants shooting.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, doesn't it? What are you pointing at?
Nothing. You're pointing, mate.
All right then. Obi
One Kenobi.
gone to.
Yeah. Great.
Monkey.
Just read.
Right. Man United are set to announce the signing of teenage wonder kid Chido Obi-Martin. This is old news. United won the fierce race to sign the 16-year-old after his Arsenal contract expired in the summer, but have to wait, here we go, for the deal to be approved by the authorities before it can be formally announced. A source close to the transfer reiterated they are not expecting any issues with Obi-Martin's transfer to the club, despite a recent report suggesting it might go before a court to be resolved. Arsenal will be owed a compensation package for their development of the teenage striker, and that is from the Manchester World.
What? What? Right, for starters, why is this kid not signed, seeing as we've announced it about 8 times on the channel and everywhere else, that we've got him, and now we haven't because we're waiting for planning permission? Also, what is this? Manchester World? Oh yes, that famous outlet, Manchester World. I get all my news from Manchester World. Of course, any self-respecting Mancunian does. I've literally never fucking heard of that in all my 44 years of life, many of which have been spent living in Manchester.
And all of which have been spent living in the world.
Yeah.
So between the two of them, you've got it covered, haven't you?
Yeah. And have they got the scoop?
Ethan?
Owned by Reach, the proper publisher.
They're owned by Reach.
Manchester
Reach PLC.
World.
Isn't
Right.
that some sort of... That was that ill-fated sort of festival that you tried to set up, wasn't it? It was like a carnival. Come to Manchester World. It's scrantastic, or whatever the slogan was. Do you know what I mean? It's one of
People
them.
just got the date wrong and that was it. And it wasn't a festival, it was my birthday party.
Oh, that's so sad.
Aye.
It's an oasis of
Yeah,
fun.
it'll be really good, just got cake and that.
So
Right, I thought this was all done. We're going backwards.
No,
In a minute,
Jake.
we're going to announce we're chasing Ugarte.
Jake,
And we're just
okay.
about to finalise fucking Onana. Just shut up, right?
He's gonna
Manchester
sign.
World are depressing me.
Manchester-
If we don't get this player,
Why
this is going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to us. Post Fergie retiring. No, it is. Do you know, genuinely?
So on Twitter it will be.
Yeah. Can you imagine the fucking meltdown from everyone and also the absolute steamrolling we're going to get from Arsenal fans?
If he signs for them.
Yeah, because we give this big fucking song and dance about a player none of us had heard of 2 months ago.
True.
And we'd got him and Arsenal in the mud and he scored 10 goals against the Scousers and then it turns out actually we haven't got planning permission. He's going back to Arsenal. Fuck it, Manchester World were right and we were wrong.
Why do you keep saying planning permission like it's a fucking conservatory? It's not like we're installing a new bit. We're not like,
It just felt very like
let's
approved,
get an extension on your house.
approved by the authorities, you know, before a court to be resolved. It
Yeah.
felt like
It's small claims, isn't it?
he's built a big conservatory and some of that leans into my garden. He can fuck off.
Yeah.
It felt a bit like that. That's why I keep saying planning permission. I'm not saying the kids, are building. Yeah, honestly, I don't give a shit, right? If we don't get this deal over the line, genuinely, I'm not even kidding, sack Dan Ashworth. Right, seriously. Fuck it, and take Wilcox with him. Just sack them all. WhatsApp Brailsford, you can go as well. And while you're at it, St Bernard we
Yeah, what are you chirping up for?
Yeah, just have like a just absolutely complete whitewash of the entire fucking
Gone.
hierarchy.
You, fuck, you,
Yeah.
fuck, you, fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
We cannot be having this. We cannot be having players we've never heard of, coming to the club, we're buzzing about it, we're sticking the knife in towards Arsenal fans and glowing about how great we are because he's left you and come to us and he scores loads of goals, and then find out because we haven't got court approval, he's gone back to the Gooners. That'd be disastrous. That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
that'd be bad, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and forgive me if you work at Manchester World. I'm sure you're a very reputable outlet.
It's one of my favourite theme parks.
Was it Manchester World? Yeah.
It's great.
If you had a Manchester World theme park, what would you have there?
Right.
Yeah, you'd have a Greggs.
Yeah.
100%. Drive-through Greggs.
Drive-through Greggs.
Yeah.
But it's not a drive-through. You go around on like rails. Like one of the rides is a Greggs. I think it's something like that. Do you know what I mean?
It'd just be a drive-through Greggs. That's all it'd be.
Right,
I'm going to wrap it up there unless you've got any more. Any more joy to spare? Listen, it was all right pun-wise. It was a bit all over the gaff. But you know what?
Was really good.
The last week was the creme de la creme.
Yeah, it was. And this was just sort of the sort of...
Go on. Go on.
I can't.
Go on.
No, I can't.
Go on.
The thing I was going to say, I don't,
Go on.
I don't know why this came to my head.
Go on.
Well, what did you say?
Creme de la creme.
And then for some reason my brain went to say...
Go on.
Minge de la minge. I don't know why. Sorry everyone, that's not a thing, is it? That's going to be all from us tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry about that. I don't know what's up with me. I'm too hot. I'm fucking roasting in here.
What? That's not even a thing.
I know it's not.
Minge de la minge.
Stop.
I thought you were going to say jizz in that.
Just cut this. Right, we'll trim this out.
Mate, no, we won't.
This.
You don't learn. Right,
Oh.
forgive him. Forgive
So hot.
him.
Let's
We're going to be
wrap it
back
up.
tomorrow with the news in the morning. Plus, we've got Jamie Jackson's going to be joining us for Off the Bar. He's going to be coming in, so we've got that as well. So make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. Joe, always a pleasure.
Yes,
Never a
you too,
chore.
of course.
Ethan, thank you
Well done, Ethan.
for some fantastic production values. That's been Joe Smith. I'm Jay Moy. This has been Transfers Live. Thanks for watching.